Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we're heading back into Judge Middleton's courtroom. Yes, the same courtroom that has become a magnet for every flavor of sovereign citizen logic you can imagine. But today is special. Today, Judge Middleton finally reaches his breaking point and decides that these sovereign citizens need their own official category. And in a moment of pure judicial creativity, he crowns them with a brand new name, Burgos. That's right after years of dealing with paperwork-phobic, jurisdiction-denying, license-revoking, copy-and-paste legal scholars. The judge has invented an entire species just for them. And honestly, it fits a little too well. So let's dive right in and watch how this courtroom full of freshly titled Burgos manages to derail even the simplest of hearings.
Yes, I have documents in here that I just filed with the clerk, and I need to submit them here.
Is that this thing called non-statutory abatement?
That's it.
All right, I got it. I provided a copy to Miss Davis. It's entitled Kurt Edwin Jensen, Reign Citizen, Reign of Heavens, a set-apart place for that address. Non-statutory abatement.
Non-statutory abatement, huh? Well, that's certainly a new one. I've got to hand it to him after hearing the same recycled lines from sovereign citizens for years. It is refreshing to see a brand new flavor of imagination at work. Usually, they stick to the classics, jurisdiction rants, name-splitting magic tricks, or the ever-popular, I don't consent. But this one feels like he dug deep into the bargain bin of legal fantasy to find something no one else has dared to use. Unfortunately for him, a non-statutory abatement exists only in the universe inside his own mind. It has no basis in law, no foundation in procedure, and no more legal power than a kindergarten art project. And the best part? Judge Middleton isn't buying a single word of it. He's sitting there listening, probably wondering how long he has to entertain this imaginary legal doctrine before steering the hearing back into the real world. So while our sovereign citizen friend is proudly waving around paperwork that might as well have been printed with crayon, the judge is calmly reminding him that the courtroom runs on actual laws, not homemade ones.
File number 23660ST, charges operating with no license. Charge 23661, charged with operating with no license in your possession. I don't think you can be convicted of both of those, as I said at our arraignment. And then the third count is a civil infraction, no proof of insurance. Could probably be charged as no insurance, but it was charged as a civil infraction.
I have the proof of that here.
May I see it? All right, that's the person that owned the car.
Correct. Yep.
All right, let Debbie see that. All right, we had kind of a chase our tails around at the time of the arraignment. You are, what do you wish to be, a Reign citizen?
I have a social compact and a body politic, which gives the authority for the credentials that I had when I had given them to Mr. Brooks at the time.
When you mention your credentials, I have to wonder which ones you're referring to. Are we talking about that imaginary trophy you awarded yourself for winning a competition? No one else entered your legendary crayon-eating championship. Or do you mean the stack of counterfeit documents you confidently handed over to law enforcement as if they were going to open a parade in your honor for creativity? Because if those are the credentials you're bragging about, then we're dealing with someone who has truly mastered the art of making their situation worse with every word they speak. You can practically see the officers thinking, ah yes, nothing says credibility like a fake passport photocopied from a website that still uses Comic Sans. And yet, somehow, you delivered it with absolute confidence, as though you expected them to congratulate you on your craftsmanship. Instead, all it did was add another layer of trouble to a situation, already collapsing under the weight of your decisions. So if those are the qualifications you're proudly holding up, they're not exactly helping your case. They're just helping everyone else understand exactly how you ended up here in the first place.
Ticket.
Right. You had said that you were going to try to get those from him and see them for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know whether Ms. Davis got that or not.
We did get additional information from the agency in Detroit regarding passports, and they confirmed that they are fraudulent. So if this doesn't get resolved today with the plea as charged to these misdemeanors, then we will be amending to have felony charges.
And just like that, your brilliant idea to whip up a homemade passport on the family printer is about to swing back around and take a massive bite out of your backside. This is the moment where that arts and crafts project you thought passed for legal documentation officially graduates from laughable to life-altering. Because unless you plan on accepting the misdemeanor deal sitting right in front of you, that little forgery is going to follow you into the felony section of the justice system, where the souvenirs are permanent and the consequences don't come with a return policy. But if there's anything sovereign citizens have taught us over the years, it's that they would rather charge headfirst into a catastrophic future than spend even 1 second admitting they were wrong. They will choose a legal annihilation over a mild inconvenience every single time, faced with the option of swallowing their pride or swallowing a felony. They will happily go for the one that ruins their life, as long as they don't have to say the words, "Yeah, okay, maybe I messed up." So here we are again, watching another proud sovereign strategist steering directly into the iceberg while insisting the iceberg has no jurisdiction. And in about 5 minutes, he's going to learn once again the iceberg doesn't need your permission to sink your ship. Clip.
People call themselves different things. The common vernacular term had become sovereign citizen.
And I do not claim that in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
I rebut that. I completely rebut that statement.
All right. Well, I tried to think of a term for it.
Well,
just a minute.
Okay.
Let me get my thoughts together here. We had a guy, Mr. Aiken, a couple of weeks ago, and we went round and round with him, and he wanted a jury trial, and he didn't show up, and then he was found in contempt, and he went to jail. And I said, well, how about willfully misinformed defendant? That's too cumbersome, or willfully ignorant defendant. And then I was laying in bed between then and now, and I thought, follow me here, Mimsy were the Borough Groves. It's like, what the heck does that mean? It's from the poem Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. It was written in the 1800s. It's a nonsense poem that doesn't mean anything. And more importantly, there was a science fiction story written maybe during the war called Mimsy Were the Borough Groves. It's a very interesting story about some toys that were sent from the future back to here. It's pretty relevant right now with cell phones. And the third line is Mimsy were the Borough Groves. And what is a Borough Grove? It doesn't make any sense. So my term for these people that come in with this kind of nonsensical jabberwocky is going to be Borough Groves. So this is Borough Grove. It doesn't mean anything, and neither do your plea.
Judge Middleton is out here laying down the ponytail of justice. Justice, slicing clean through sovereign nonsense like he's auditioning for a legal samurai movie. And after hearing him talk about Borgoves, which is actually pronounced Borogues, not Borogues, not Borogues, not Borogues, but Borgoves, I did a little digging of my own. And I found some things I absolutely have to share. Because once I saw them, I couldn't unsee them. First, it comes up right after Alice from Alice in Wonderland reads the poem Jabberwocky in Through the Looking Glass. She says her head is suddenly filled with ideas a die zone. She has no clue what they are. They're just kind of floating around like loose papers in a hurricane. Which, ironically, is exactly how I feel every single time I watch a sovereign citizen in court. Thoughts? Yes. Logic? No ideas. Sure, understanding. Not even close. It's like the mental equivalent of shaking a snow globe full of crayons. And second, and this is the part that really got my attention, Alice reads the poem. Humpty Dumpty jumps in and casually describes a Borgov as looking like a live mop. A live mop, which instantly raises the only question that matters here. How in the hell did an author in the 1800s already know exactly what a 21st century sovereign citizen was going to look like? How did Lewis Carroll, sitting in his Victorian writing nook with his feather pen and teacup, perfectly capture the modern-day aesthetic of I cut my own hair, and it shows? Because when you think about it, wild eyes, tangled hair, the emotional stability of a shopping cart with one broken wheel, and the fashion sense of someone who lost a fight with a thrift store, you start to realize Humpty Dumpty wasn't describing a fictional creature. He was predicting the future. The man basically drew up the police sketch for every sovereign citizen, who insists the judge is actually the defendant and that the laws don't apply to them because they once read a blog. So, shout out to Lewis Carroll for being a century and a half ahead of his time. And shout out to Judge Middleton for bringing these live mops into the courtroom, so we can all enjoy the show.
Self-claimed contracts in Exhibit B and C has no lawful effect. So the question I have here is, do you wish to have a trial on these matters, or do you wish to enter a plea to this?
So does the body politic and social compact, is that being disregarded?
Correct.
Okay, then I'll go with the trial.
All right, then I will. Do you want to have an attorney to assist you?
No.
All right. You sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. The prosecutor is going to charge you with some sort of felony charge. What charge did you have in mind, Ms. Davis?
I believe that Prosecutor Morgan looked it up, and it was fraudulent documentation, basically manufacturing fraudulent passport and a fraudulent license.
We talked about Conch Republic passports. Whatever you had, and this false passport and some claim that somehow you had an international driver's license. You have to have a driver's license from somewhere to have an international driver's license. And this isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And I had that too. I have that too, yes.
All right. Well,
one last question. The documents that were taken by Mr. Brooks, I want to make sure that those are entered in as evidence.
You cannot make this kind of stupidity up. You really can't. Scientists could combine their collective intelligence, get a $1 billion grant. Build a machine that simulates the dumbest possible human decisions. Not even that supercomputer could generate something this catastrophically idiotic. Are you seriously requesting your fake passport and your fake loose driver's license, the exact same items? The prosecution is going to hold up like a trophy at trial as evidence to prove that you did. In fact, commit the felony you're being charged with. Those documents are basically Exhibit A and Exhibit B in the congratulations. You played yourself museum, and you're asking for them like you're retrieving your dry cleaning. These aren't souvenirs. These aren't mementos. These are the smoking gun, the bullet, the shell casing, and the security footage all wrapped together with a bow. And you want them in your hand before trial. 2. What? Frame them. Practice your signature. Maybe sniff them to remember the last time you were free. Let me break this down. Typically any attorney with even a single functioning neuron is trying to get incriminating evidence excluded, hidden, suppressed, buried, lost behind a file cabinet, accidentally forgotten on the roof of a moving car. Anything to keep it out of the courtroom, but not you. No, no, not our sovereign scholar. You're representing yourself, which means you're basically a one-person legal demolition team. And your mission is to bulldoze your own defense in record time. And my God, you are succeeding. You're the only client in history who has a complete, full, neatly organized case file. Of your own crimes, congratulations. You have a full binder of reasons you're going to prison. And you requested them personally. If there were awards for self-incrimination, you'd be the unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. Clips.
Do you have those, Deborah?
I do not have physical possession of them. As all evidence, it's held by the sheriff's department in the evidence lockers. So certainly we would introduce those as exhibits.
All right. Well, you're always polite enough, but you're.
I stand
This,
firm.
well, this,
I
it's,
stand
the problem
firm
with
on
this is insidiously dangerous. People decide on their own that the rules don't apply to them. And even though they're polite and respectful, you're yanking my chain, and this is a waste of our court's time and Miss Davis's time.
I intend to prove that
All
these
right.
things are correct.
All right, maybe you do, but they aren't. This stuff is meaningless. And if everybody decided like you that they don't need a driver's license, they don't participate in our social contract, and they wish to use our public roadways and our streetlights and our court system, but hey, it doesn't apply to me, things would break down. The rule of law would cease to exist. So it's polite, but it's insidious and it's dangerous. What's next? I don't have the social contact, so I can punch somebody in the nose. I can kill somebody. I can sell drugs. The rules don't apply to me because I'm a RAIN citizen. Well, it don't work that way, at least not here in Michigan or in St. Joe County. Same rules apply to you that apply to everybody else. And you're going to get charged with a felony document fraud case. Do you want a bench trial or a jury trial?
Jury.
Yeah, the same thing. It's hypocritical. The rules don't apply to you, but you don't mind bringing in 30 of your citizens to come in and
It's
hear
going to be
this
just
stuff.
me. It's just going to be just me.
Man, I absolutely love watching Judge Middleton in action. He's the embodiment of a no-nonsense Judge Calm, precise and impossibly patient, but with just the right amount of fire to make sure everyone in the courtroom knows he's in charge. You can almost feel the collective exasperation he must have endured over the years distilled into every word he says. And yet he delivers it with this surgical precision that cuts right to the heart of the matter. In this hearing, he did exactly what you want a judge to do. He laid out in painstaking detail why the defendant was completely in the wrong, not just pointing out the obvious mistakes, but dissecting the logic or lack thereof behind each argument the defendant tried to make. And it's not just about calling out errors. It's about teaching, about making sure the defendant and anyone watching can see precisely why the law works the way it does. He also didn't shy away from expressing why sovereign citizens like this particular defendant can be so frustrating. Every misstep, every misinterpretation of the law, every creative legal theory that has no grounding in reality, it's all part of the bigger picture. And Judge Middleton lays it out with crystal clarity, highlighting why the courtroom content won't bend to every whimsical interpretation of legal nonsense. Finally, he breaks down exactly what the defendant is FAQ.
Mimsy were the Borough Groves. That's what this amounts to. 'Twas brilling on their slithy ties. It's a bunch of nonsense. And so, Mr. Borough, I will see you on August 16th at 8:30.
Your Honor, just to clarify a few things in anticipation of that. As far as service, Mr. Jensen, will you accept service at the email that you have on this non-statutory abatement?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so just wanted the clarification that I'm going to send a witness list to him, make sure that he has the supplemental report from.
Yeah, there is
Detective
one
Steers.
thing that it does have some merit in here. He asked for discovery. So yes, your request for discovery is honored, and the prosecution will provide all discovery to the defendant.
Did I just feel a ripple across my brain? Or did Judge Middleton actually just say that a sovereign citizen got something right? Because if you've been paying attention to these courtroom circus acts, you know how rare that is. It's like spotting a unicorn riding a unicycle while reciting the Constitution backwards statistically possible. But so improbable, it makes you question reality itself. For a moment there, I had to pause and check if the courtroom had been swapped out with a parallel universe where logic actually exists in the sovereign citizen community. But no, it was real. Judge Middleton, with his trademark calm and razor-sharp clarity, actually acknowledged that one tiny fragment of their argument wasn't completely, utterly wrong. And watching him do it, it was equal parts baffling and satisfying. You could almost hear the collective mental gears grinding across the courtroom as everyone processed the absurdity. A sovereign citizen, partially correct. Under the law, it's moments like these that make Judge Middleton's courtroom a masterclass in patience, jurisprudence, and the sheer weirdness of humanity. And honestly, I kind of want to rewatch it just to make sure my ears weren't playing tricks on me.
On this document that was filed
And what
today.
email will I use to respond?
Yours would, the email that it comes from, which is PROS at
Okay.
stjosephcountymi.org. As far as witnesses, the people would intend to call Deputy Kevin Brooks, Detective Sergeant Brian Steers, Chris Catone from the TSA, and James Herdman, Special Agent, Diplomatic Security Service from the Detroit office.
Will all that be included with the email?
Yes, I will do a written witness list. So
What's that officer's name?
The last one, James Herdman, Herdman. And then potentially this Cheryl Pulaski.
The owner of the car?
Yes. I don't believe there might have been another backup officer. Let me double check. I don't know if we'll need him, but
Even though you have these mistaken beliefs, what's your objection to having an attorney to help you with this?
I do not choose to have any bar or associates representing me.
All right. If it is not charged as a felony, in the meantime, you're to be here August 16th at 8:30.
Okay.
And do you have any witnesses that you wish to call?
Potentially the owner of the car. I'm not sure at this point, but that would be one potential.
Oh, really? So now you want to drag in the person who knowingly lets you operate their vehicle, even though you don't have a valid driver's license. You know, the same person who's technically committing a misdemeanor under MCL 257.904 just by letting this happen. Yeah, that's right, it's illegal, and it's not up for debate. No matter how many sovereign citizen YouTube tutorials you watched last night, maybe instead of trying to pull other people into your mess, you should do them a favor and focus on cleaning up your own life first. Because right now, the only thing you're proving is that you can pile bad decisions on top of each other faster than anyone thought possible. It's like watching a slow-motion domino effect where each move you make is a new opportunity to trip yourself up, and everyone else who tries to help you along the way. So yeah, maybe park the finger-pointing, stick to your own business, and leave everyone else out of your self-made legal disaster. It'll save them a lot of headache, and maybe save you from turning a misdemeanor into something much, much bigger.
Would they be available?
One precaution, the owner of the car might have a Fifth Amendment right not to testify.
Mhm.
If they're allowing you to drive the car without an operator's license, that could be a misdemeanor in and of itself. So that's something to consider. But we'll address it further. We'll see what Mr. Marvin and Ms. Davis elect to do with this.
For further witnesses, would Zoom be available?
No, they be here live and in person.
Okay.
All right. Any questions? All right. You're free to go.
Thank you, Romy.
So it looks like August 16th is officially marked on the calendar as the next court date for this particular government enthusiast. Plenty of time for them to prepare, or, knowing their track record, to invent even more creative ways to confuse themselves before stepping back into the courtroom. But before we wrap things up and let everyone breathe a sigh of relief, Judge Middleton decided to sprinkle a little positivity into our day. Yes, amidst all the chaos, the missteps, and the endless sovereign citizen theatrics, he reminded everyone that the law isn't just about punishment, it's also about clarity, fairness, and holding people accountable while still letting them have a chance to do better. It's rare, almost refreshing, to see a moment where a courtroom full of nonsense gets punctuated with an actual lesson that makes sense. So as we close out this hearing, it's worth noting that even in the middle of all the absurdity, Judge Middleton's calm, measured approach reminds us why patience, logic, and a bit of encouragement can go a long way, even for those who seem determined to test the limits of both.
Call themselves by different titles. Henceforth, I'm going to refer to this type of defendant as a Borough Grove. Makes me happy.
It makes me happy too. And if it brings a little joy to your day, go ahead and show some love. Leave a like. And if you happen to be a sovereign citizen watching this, feel free to leave a dislike. It's all part of the fun. But no matter what, don't forget to drop a comment below. Want to hear your thoughts, reactions, or favorite moments from this chaos. And make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you never miss any of my content. Because there's always more absurdity, courtroom drama, and legal shenanigans on the way, as always. I'm on Team Skeptic, keeping it real, keeping it logical, and making sure we all get a front row seat to the absolute madness. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and I'll catch you in the next video.